Hey guys, welcome to episode 208 of the Hurricane Mike Show. We got a lot of stuff to go over. NFL's been crazy today, but Dad, you know what is crazy? Thinking Atlanta gonna win a Super Bowl. Why, Dad?
Because the Atlanta Falcons suck.
Yep. Hey Jerry, what's going on, my brother? All right, let's dive into things. Let's get started. The first topic I want to go over: will Jordan Tyson unlock Chris Olave's best season yet?
Chris Olave needs to unlock his own season. He don't need to, worry about this rookie. He just needs to take care of his own business, and things will take care of themselves. Jordan Tyson's gonna worry about him. Chris Olave needs to worry about him.
Okay, I understand, but I think having Jordan Tyson in the receiving room, because you see, Olave was going crazy last season when the only receiver people would worry about on the Saints offense was Chris Olave. Now you got to worry about Olave, Tyson, and even like Bryce Lance. So it's not going to be as easy for people. But now, Dad, what if things go well for the Saints in 2026? Like, let's say they win 10 games, maybe win a Super Bowl, or like even just make the playoffs. What do you think things are going to look like for the future of this team from 2027 and beyond? Like, how do you think this team will be able to function if things go well this season?
Your question was if things go well? No.
Yeah.
Things are going to go well. I mean, we're going to be so good this year. I mean, 26, 27 is going to be our year. I mean, I believe we're going to make the playoffs. I know we're going to win the division. And once you get into those playoffs, anything can happen. I mean, Tyler Shuck could get hot. His defense could, be unstoppable if everybody's healthy. So, come on now, we stronger than that. We are Saints fans. We ain't no Falcons fans. Falcons, they have to say if. But, we know what time it is, and we're going to be in the big dance looking at the Falcons back at home on the couch.
Okay. All right, so when the Saints do well, what do you think the future is going to look like?
It's going to look good. It's going to look like a Super Bowl trophy in our hands. You know what they do with the Super Bowl trophies. Now they kiss it, they pass it around each other, they go home, they slip it. I mean, that's what it's going to look like, with 2027. And I'm not just being a homer. I really believe this in my heart. I mean, I think we're going to stay healthy. And, yeah, Super Bowl, I'm predicting it right here.
All right. Now, earlier today, I was on Saints Blitz with Izzy Six, right? And there's this Falcon fan on there, right? His name he goes by the name of Red Swarm. He's been in our chat a couple times. But yeah, Red Swarm was on there, right? And he wanted me to ask you this. All right, and he made it clear because we were talking, and he wanted me to ask you this because he knows about us too. How do you feel about people with excuses?
What's the context here? Who's got excuses?
All right. So earlier today we were talking, and for whatever reason, the no call got brought up, and Red Swarm was a big advocate on saying how basically, like, you can say all these things, but in reality, the Saints still lost. And then he told me, because he used to be in the military, so he said how we used to be trained not to give excuses. So in that context, what would you say to people with excuses? Or how do you feel about it?
We talk sports for a living, bro. And so we have to analyze everything that happens. So go back to the no call. We are analyzing what happened. And what happened was a blatant pass interference penalty. I mean, not penalty, but a pass interference that was not called, that if was properly called, puts the Saints on the doorstep right there, and we win the game. There's no question about it. So excuses, when you say excuses, you got to bring up, the Falcons and the 28-3. I mean, I'm sure he has a lot of excuses for that. How that happened. But anyway, we are just breaking it down analytically, and we saw what happened or what didn't happen. No flag was called, and one of the most outrageous no calls that's ever been perpetrated on a football team ever. So
Right.
when you talk about no excuses, I don't think that even applies there.
Yeah. Because we were also talking about week 18 last season, because he always says, we swept y'all. And in week 18, right, when the Saints had no Chris Olave, we kept bringing up that fact, right? We had no Chris Olave in week 18. And then he was also saying how excuses are just excuse. What would if he was to come onto the show right now and bring up that week 18 game? Would you bring up these excuses, or would you just say that they're facts?
Well, when you talk about injuries and all, I'll go ahead and give them that. I mean, I'll go ahead and say, okay, no excuses for that, because every team deals with injuries. I mean, so if you're gonna sit around and say, well, this guy wasn't playing, Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing, or Travis Kelce wasn't playing, or Jalen Hurts wasn't playing, I mean, we could be here all day talking about excuses. So, I mean, that kind of goes against what I just said. So, no excuses. But, it doesn't rise to the level of the no call.
All right. I just want to get your opinion on that. Now we can move forward with the show. All right. So, this past offseason, right, the Saints already had Chris Olave on the roster, but you go ahead and draft Jordan Tyson. You sign Travis Etienne. Do you think this is a bold gamble, or do you think it's bold, or do you think it's strategic?
Is what bold or strategic?
Drafting Tyson, knowing his injury luck, signing Etienne, knowing a couple years ago he wasn't that good. Do you think this is bold, or do you think it was strategic?
It's needed. I mean, we don't know who's going to be in that running back room. I mean, Alvin Kamara is still unsigned, correct?
Kamara is currently on the Saints, but we don't know his future yet.
He's got one more year?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's in and out of trade talks and all this. So we all know where his head's at. And then we have, Devin Neal coming off an injury. He's always injured. So, yes, we have to go out there and we have to get a running back. Travis Etienne's available. We get him. So that's needed. And then, of course, one of the biggest needs last year was a pass-catching receiver. So we definitely have to get that. I mean, we talked about it before the draft. We threw around different, receivers named. I mean, Jordan Tyson really wasn't in that mix to be, early on. I mean, I had him as the third receiver, but but I'm pretty happy with the pick. So both of them was needed. I wouldn't say it was strategic. I mean, I guess you got to be strategic. I guess they figured he was, the best receiver of their, had him on the draft board. So I guess that's strategic, but I think it was needed.
All right. I do think it was a bold gamble. Now, if it works out, great. And I do think it will work out. But it was still a bold gamble because, Jordan Tyson, right? We know how great he is, but he also comes with that injury line, comes with them injuries. Now, Chris Olave, having him in the receiving room, trying to see if we can extend him soon. And then bringing in Travis Etienne, that is also a bold gamble as well. I know he had a great season last year, but the year before that, he had, I think, 400 or 500 rushing yards in a full year. So, now that is all to say, I do think this season will cancel all of those bold narratives out. But when it comes down to it, it is a bold gamble for right now. Now, let's flip over to the basketball side of things, as we got some alert going on because the Pelicans, right? You know what? Actually, let me start the conversation like this. The San Antonio Spurs, right, have beaten the Thunder in Game 7 to move on to the NBA Finals. So, do you think the Pelicans this offseason, do you think they should go into the offseason looking for guys that can compete with Victor Wembanyama?
Well, I don't know where you're gonna find a 7'5" guy that hangs around the perimeter and shoots threes and handles the ball. I mean, so the Pelicans just got to worry about themselves, trying to get better defensively. I think we're going to be a good offensive team for years to come, but we have to get better defensively.
All right, I will say this: the Pelicans cannot ignore the Victor Wembanyama dilemma, because when you go into an offseason, you look at who wins the championship. It's probably going to be the Spurs. You have to figure out how to beat that team because they're obviously you got to beat the other all the 29 other NBA teams that are out there, but you have to look at, okay, how did the Spurs win? Okay, the Spurs, you know why they won, because they have a 7'5" center that be shooting threes that literally can shoot half court shots like it's nothing. Are you going to find someone like that? Probably not. But you have to at least try to build a team you got to find solutions that can beat the Spurs, okay, and along with the other teams. Now, the NFL is not ready for what the New Orleans Saints are hiding. Dad, do you think that's a true or a false statement?
I think it's true. I think people are sleeping on the Saints. The moves that we made, they aren't flashy moves, so they don't grab nobody's attention. But I've seen some experts, have us finish in second or third in the division. They still don't believe that we're ready, and I believe we are. And so, yeah, they're not going to give us no love yet until we start playing these games and start winning and showing some consistency.
Yeah, look, the NFL, I'm going to say it's false because the Saints aren't hiding anything. All right? We're showing you the blueprint. We're showing you how we're going to win games this year. NFL, you know what? I think the NFL is ready. They're just refusing to acknowledge it. Like, the NFL knows how good we can be. Like, I've seen a lot of analysts, like, Lance Samore, right? The dude that won the Super Bowl with the Saints. He said the Saints offense will be top 10 this year. He knows. Okay, but people might be like, oh, that's just a Saints bias. All right, let's go to one of the top NFL insiders, Adam Schefter. Now, Dad, he went on the podcast and he said he predicted a sleeper team. You want to know what team he said?
A black and gold team?
Yep, the New Orleans Saints. And the funny thing about that, last year he said the Patriots were going to be a sleeper team. They went to the Super Bowl. The year before that, he said the Commanders were going to be a sleeper team. They went to the NFC Championship game. So Adam Schefter knows. Like, he knows his stuff, man. That's why he got the job he does. So, hey, if history repeats itself, Saints are at least making the championship game this year. So, now, Taysom Hill's future. All right. That are you being a Saints fan, you watched Taysom Hill's whole career with the Saints. Are you emotional knowing that he's probably not going to play for the Saints ever again?
Maybe just a little bit. I don't get too emotional over these things because players move around all the time. And, so just a little bit to answer your question. Just a little bit.
I'm not. Look, Taysom Hill, he was a great player while he was here. He was the Falcon killer. Fail can't killer, excuse my language, but yeah, fail can't killer. However, it's just time, man. Look, if you gotta go, you gotta go. And Taysom just gotta go, man. He just gotta go somewhere else now. So he's probably gonna go to Denver. So yeah. But yeah. Taysom Hill, it was nice because every year I was a Saints fan. I'm pretty sure he was on the team, so it was nice knowing you, but you got to go now. So, now, do you think this Saints wide receiver room is filled with elite versatility for Kellen Moore's offense?
I do. I mean, you have Chris Olave is the number one receiver there. Then you have some speed, with the guys you drafted, and Jordan Tyson and the kid from LSU, and even the other guy. I'm forgetting his name offhand.
Bryce Lance.
But that's a ton of versatility, so it's going to be a good season.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the wide receiver room, right, Jordan Tyson, his biggest attribute, in my opinion, is versatility. Chris Olave, you can go out there and get the ball. He's versatile. All right, Barry Brown, he's literally one of the best He's literally the best kicker returner that was drafted. Bryce Lance had 17 touchdowns a couple seasons ago. Like, the Saints' offense is filled, especially in the wide receiver room, with elite versatility. And I can't wait for Kellen Moore to use his toys, man. Now, do you think now, I have a question for you. Will Juwan Johnson build on career bests in 2026 with more weapons on the Saints offense? Do you think with the Saints adding more weapons, it will unlock Juwan Johnson for his career best season?
I'm going to say no because of this, because you have more weapons. The ball can't go. You have to spread the ball around. So Johnson's not going to get as much opportunities as he had last year to put up those numbers. But I still think he'll have a decent year as long as he doesn't, get into that funk where he drops a few passes here and there. If he can not do that, he'll be fine. But career best, no, I don't look for that.
Yeah, I'm also going to agree with you on no. Like, hold on. So, if we look at Juwan Johnson's career stats, right? So, the most amount of receptions he had was last year with 77. The most yards he had was also last year with 889. And the most touchdowns he had was in 2022 when he had 7. So, in order for Juwan Johnson to have his career best season, he would need at least 78 receptions, 890 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And I'm sorry, he's not getting that in this offense with the Saints. He's not doing it. If he has, he could have a good year, but I'm not going to say, he's going to have his career best season. All right, now let's preview as the OTAs are still going on. Do you think the Saints offense is ready to roll?
On June 1st, no. We still got to get into OTAs and then training camp. And, so we got a lot of time to build up. And when you say ready to roll, I'm assuming you mean like hitting on all cylinders in mid-season form. Well, that might take till mid-season. So, no, not ready to roll yet.
Yeah, I agree. I ain't going to lie. Like, the Saints offense as of June 1st, we still don't know who's going to be on the team, right? So once the 53-man roster is finalized, which won't be until the end of preseason, that is when, the New Orleans Saints will know, all right, who's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. So ask me then. Now, do you think the defense is still a question mark?
Yes, there's a couple question marks I have on the defense. You got outside corner, you got nickel corner, and you got questions at linebacker. So I'm going to say there's 3 big questions on the Saints defense.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, because 1, is Cam Jordan going to be back with the Saints? 2, I mean, the cornerback room, unless Quincy Riley or Kool-Aid take a substantial improvement, like, how's the cornerbacks looking? Like, who's going to be the nickel back? Like, there's a lot of question marks on that defensive side of the ball. Now, I do trust Brandon Staley. I think he can get this defense back to being top 10 like he did a year ago. But it's going to take time, man. It's just like last season. The defense started out bad last year, and then it ended being top 10. So it might be the same thing this year. Now, here we go. As we preview some more stuff for the Saints OTAs, top players to watch, injury news, position battles, let's dive into more OTA stuff. So Nick Underhill put out a tweet last week saying the Saints are kicking off things with a team bonding activity The Saints are kicking things off with the team bonding activity day today, which he posted this last Tuesday. Then they practice tomorrow, aka Wednesday, and last Thursday. Now let's talk about what's the future. All right, Alvin Kamara, who's the running back for the Saints. All right, so you restructured Kamara's contract in a way that provides flexibility if he's not with the team. The insiders say that the expectation something happens before post June 1st. Well, today's currently June 1st, and nothing has happened yet. And the Saints signed Travis Etienne. All right, now. Okay, so Tyler Shough, right? This is the first offseason that Shough is fully operating as the QB1. The Saints have heavily invested around Tyler Shough, as they have an improved offense, all-around explosiveness, revamped wide receiver room, juice on the ground, modernized tight end group. The O-line is more reliable. I don't see how Shough regresses in year 2. I just don't. Right, so the Saints offense in 2025, a year ago, averaged 18 points per game, which was 28th in the NFL. They averaged 313.6 yards per game, 23rd in the NFL. 5 yards per play, 27th in the NFL. 39.5% on third down, 17th in the NFL. And scoring touchdowns in the red zone, the Saints had a 44.4%, which was 32nd in the NFL. Dead last. All right, so now rookie minicamp, right? Jordan Tyson, wide receiver for the Saints. Day 1 of rookie minicamp, Jordan Tyson lined up and proved he could play all 3 positions. He moved really well, looked healthy. Day 2, he did not practice. Kellen Moore said it was a planned maintenance day. Tyson is on a maintenance plan similar to other rookies that also deal with injuries sometimes. Now how does the offense evolve in year 2? Well, let's talk about it, right? Year 2 adjustments, right? You're going to have an improved rushing attack, more multiple tight end sets, increased usage of play action, creativity and decision making, scheme up explosive plays. Okay, I have high hopes for the offense in 2026. But Dan, I have a question for you. Which player on offense are you most excited to watch?
I'm definitely more excited to watch Tyler James Shough. Is it James?
Yep, it is.
Tyler James Shough. Because, I mean, our offense rests upon the maturity and the development of our quarterback. So I'm looking for him to do great things in year 2. Because like we said before, this is where young quarterbacks, if they're going to be something, they're going to have a good jump in that second year. If he falls flat, I mean, and if he looks like he regressed, kind of like Rattler looked last year, then, you know, we get to the end of the year, he regressed, we have a losing record, we might be looking for another quarterback.
Right. Now, the guy I'm most excited to watch is Travis Etienne, because I want to see, how does Travis Etienne do? You know, this is his first year back in New Orleans. Can he put it all together in year 1 with the Saints, right? He's going to have a good quarterback. He's going to have a good offense around him. But can Travis Etienne put it all together? Well, we're about to find out. Yep, on next time on Dragon Ball Z. All right. Now, here are some position battles to watch for OTAs, training camp, etc. The wide receiver rotation. What happens along the defensive line? DBs, more important on the DBs, the star role. How does the D-line look without Cam Jordan? All right, because as we look at the Saints' 5-man front, the edge rushers, or 2 starting edge rushers as of right now, is Chase Young and Carl Granderson. And then the other edge rushers that are in that department are Tyree Wilson, Anthony Jennings, Fadil Diggs, and Chris Rumpf II. Your defensive ends, Brian Brzee, Vernon Brofton, and Keziah Izzard. Nose tackles, Devon Godchow, Christian Miller, and Christian Boyd. Defensive tackles, Nathan Shepard, John Ridgway III, and JVR Suggs. And guys that are also in that defensive the defensive line are Miles Cole, Keenan Silver, and Michael Heldman. Now, Cam Jordan could make a decision soon, but also something to watch. Can Christian Miller and Xavier Harris make noise early? All right. So, Dad, I have a question for you. Can Christian Miller and Xavier Harris make noise early?
Absolutely, they can make noise early. I mean, it just depends on the opportunity they get if they stay healthy. So absolutely, they can. I don't expect it. I expect to maybe go into the season a few weeks before they start getting some real playing time. But I think it'll come, and they can make noise.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the potential, man, because these are two of the best rookies when it comes to stopping the run. Because I said this before, Xavier Harris really was a second-round pick that did not get drafted. And the only reason he didn't get picked was because of character concerns. So if he just chills out and be a good person, then yes, he can definitely make noise early along with Christian Miller. Now let's look at the Saints linebacker depth chart so we can talk about these linebackers, man. So at the weak side linebacker, you got Pete Werner and Isaiah Stallbird. And then at middle linebacker, you got Caden Ellis, Danny Stutzman, and Jalen Ford. So, Dad, I have a question, and this is probably also, do you think, can Danny Stutzman dethrone Pete Werner?
I would say no, but I do think Stutzman will get a lot of playing time. Pete Werner has showed last few years he can't stay healthy for an entire season. So I do think Stutzman will get a lot of time. I mean, whether he's going to be, the guy at that position, if both are healthy, I don't know. I think it's going to be a rotational thing anyway. So to answer your question, no, but I do think he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no too, because you see, Pete Werner, he's one of the most consistent tacklers in the NFL. I remember even in the years where a lot of people were missing tackles, Pete Werner was making tackles. He was not letting nobody through. So I think that's a valuable aspect to the Saints defense. And I feel like that's a part of the reason why the Saints defense was top 10 last year, was because of Pete Werner and his tackling ability. So, yeah. Now let's talk about the Saints cornerback depth chart. So your left cornerback is Quincy Riley. The cornerback on the right is Kool-Aid McKinstry. And the nickelback is Julian Blackmon. As of right now, that position's still up for grabs. Now the other cornerbacks in your cornerback room: Isaac Adam, Martin Emerson Jr., Lorenzo Styles Jr., T.J. Hall, Dales Beanham, and Jaden Price. And guys are also in there: Beanie Bishop, Deshaun Jones, and Rajon Wright. So, if we look at the Saints DB depth chart, so the left cornerbacks are actually Kool-Aid McKinstry, Rajon Wright, and Dales Beanham. Your strong safeties are Justin Reed and Terrell Burgess. Free safeties, Jonas Anker, Jordan Howden, and Elliot Davison. Nickelback, Julian Blackmon, Isaac Adam, and T.J. Hall. And your right cornerbacks are Quincy Riley, Lorenzo Styles Jr., and Jaden Price. And then also in that room, you got Beanie Bishop, Deshaun Jones, and Martin Emerson Jr. So now, do you think Jonas Anker is perfect for the star role?
No, I don't think he's a star yet, and I don't expect him to be one. I think he's, an all right piece, a role player. I don't think he's a star in the making.
Okay. All right, now, friendly reminder, right? The summer activities are just beginning, and we will learn a lot over the next few months. But now I have a question for you again. Is Alvin Kamara's role with the Saints shrinking in 2026?
I don't know if it's shrinking, but I know that he'll have to share the backfield. He won't, get the ball, 300 times this year. So I think he's going to have to be content with, playing that number 2 role, or just playing a sharing the ball role in the backfield.
Yeah, I don't think it's shrinking. I do think, obviously, he's not going to be this every down running back, but he never was an every down running back. Sometimes he'll be the leading running back, but he was never made for, because we've said it a bunch of times, right? He's a guy that'll catch passes and stuff. He's not like this bell cow running back, but I don't think his role's going to be shrinking either. I think he's going to be playing how the Saints need him to play. All right, now with the running back room, right? You got young veterans in there. Alvin Kamara is going to be that older veteran, so I think with the Saints, they're going to need Kamara to step up in the leadership role. So yeah. Now, can you give me top 5 storylines to watch as the Saints open OTAs? Can you give me top 5 things to watch?
Top 5. Well, the number one, definitely for me, is the development of our quarterback, Tyler James Shuck. Number 2, I would say, is definitely these young rookies to see how they fit in. The Jordan Tysons, the young tight end, the other receivers, how they fit. Number 3 will be looking at the defensive side of the ball. Is how does the cornerback situation shape up? And number 4, I probably should have had this one a little higher, but the offensive line, to see if they gel, see if David Edwards is that piece in the middle that's going to make everything work this year. And number 5, I'm going to go with coaching staff. I want our coaching staff to put these guys in the position where they can be successful.
All right. My top 5 would be this. The development of Tyler Shuck, like you mentioned, obviously. Number 2, what's going on with Alvin Kamara? You gotta be committed. Okay, I don't want that we think he could be good to this team. Now, I want you to be like, okay, I want guys that are absolutely going to be hardcore. All right, the wide receivers. I want to see great play out of Jordan Tyson his rookie year. The defense, man. How's the cornerbacks looking? And finally, the coaching staff. Are the coaches ready to help these guys take the next step? All right. Well, we'll see. Now, I'm not going to ask you that because I already know that answer. Do you think – so there are some rumors, right, that Josh Sweat, who currently plays for the Arizona Cardinals, might be a little unhappy over there. Would you consider, would you welcome the Saints trading for him?
For the right price, if you're not giving up the entire farm to get it. But no, he's a decent player. I would definitely send a draft pick or 2 their way if he wants to come over.
Yeah, I would not, because Josh Sweat, look, he's good, but I'm not, in the world the Saints are in now, I'm not giving up future draft capital for a guy that don't even want to play right now. I'm sorry, he's just giving me Hassan Reddick vibes. You remember Hassan Reddick? He wanted to get traded so bad when he got traded to the Jets. He got traded to the Jets, and he hated going there so bad that he got traded from the Jets after getting traded to the Jets. That's just, I don't know why he's giving me that type of vibes, but yeah. All right, next question. Do you think Kellen Moore is under pressure in 2026?
No, not yet. I think he's still in the honeymoon phase. And I think we're going to have a decent season. So I don't think he'll be under pressure at all this season. So my answer is no.
All right, my answer is yes. Because, look, just like you said, we expect the Saints to be good. And the guy that can lead the Saints to being good is Kellen Moore. So if the Saints are not good, most of that's probably going to have to come with Kellen Moore. And I love Kellen Moore. Okay, I told y'all even before the Saints hired Kellen Moore, the guy I want the Saints to hire is Kellen Moore because of all the things I know about him. Now, if Kellen Moore, if he wants to be the future head coach of this team, the Saints got to be good now. Okay, we gave him a year. Last year was basically his preseason to this season. Now we have to go and take it. All right? Now, the Pelicans had a little bit of a culture reset as the New Orleans Pelicans hired Jamal Mosley to transform the team with accountability and standards. And Dad, you might like what he said. Jamal Mosley had his introductory press conference, and he said he wants to bring defense back to New Orleans. Do you like that?
I don't hate it. Yes, absolutely. I like that. I want to bring defense as well. I want to shut down this running game. I want to get after the quarterback. I want to pick off some passes and bring it
Yeah,
back to the house.
yeah. We're talking about the Pelicans right now.
Oh, I was reading something about the Saints on my phone. Pelicans, yes. Let's cut this part out.
I can't. It's live.
Pelicans. I told you earlier in this show, the defense needs work. The offense is going to be good for years because of the young guys they got in the draft last year and just already who we had on the team. And so yeah, we definitely got to bolster the defense.
All right. Now, do you think Jordan Tyson and Christian Miller being the first two picks of the Saints, do you think that they're going to take a ramp-up approach, which is basically like where they just, they like the first 5 weeks are not doing too much and then they go crazy? Like, if Christian Miller and Jordan Tyson don't do good in the rookie year, are you going to be quick to panic?
Define not do good.
Like, if both of the guys have like these rookie expectations and they don't meet them, like if we want Tyson to have 800 yards and he finishes with like 600, or Christian Miller, like if he misses some tackles, like would you be quick to panic, or do you think it's going to take time?
I think it's going to take time, but I mean I wouldn't panic unless Jordan Tyson comes out and like drops every ball you throw to him. I'm be like, what did we just draft? Or if Christian Miller, can't make a tackle, if he, but I don't think those are going to happen. So I don't think I'll be panicking this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be panicking, because look, rookies take time, man. Now, if they're great, great. But if they're not, then that's why year 2. That's why rookies are given a 4-year contract. That's why they're given that's why they're given 4 years before you can actually judge these people. So yeah. Now, last year the Saints had 9 selections in the 2025 NFL draft, and they used 5 of them on defensive players. All right, in the 3rd round you drafted Vernon Brofton. Also in the 3rd round, you took Jonas Anker. In the 4th round, you took Danny Stutzman. In the 4th round, you took Quincy Riley. In the 7th round, you took Fadil Diggs. Now, those 5 names I just named, Vernon Brofton, Jonas Anker, Danny Stutzman, Quincy Riley, and Fadil Diggs, do you think they will all be able to take a leap in the year 2?
I think so. I think we're counting on those guys, most of those guys, to step up with big roles this year. So I do think they'll have the opportunity to show what they got, and I believe they will step up.
All right, I think Jonas Anker is going to be a big part in this team. I think Stutzman could be really good. Quincy Riley, I think he could be really good. We'll just have to see how things go. Like Vernon Brofton's still a question mark, with him coming off of an injury. Fadil Diggs, he really didn't do nothing last year. So we'll just have to see how things come with this defense and the young guys that's on this team. Now, as we watch OTAs, do you think Tyler Shough, he's ready to be the Saints' true franchise QB?
I think he's already there, my brother. I think he is there. He's not looking over his shoulder at Spencer Rattler. I think everybody trusts him, the coaches, the players, the front office. So he's definitely our guy. Like we said earlier, unless he regresses and loses a bunch of games, then I wouldn't panic about him either.
All right. Yeah, I think, look, Tyler Shough, he's already walking like he's the future quarterback. And the thing is, Tyler Shough has confidence. You know why Spencer Rattler did not work out as the starting quarterback? He was not confident in himself like Tyler Shough is. So all Shough has to do is go out there and be the best version of himself. And there's no way, he can't lead the Saints to glory. Now, all right. Do you think, can Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson stay on the field and not get injured?
That's the $1 million question. I mean, I hope so. I'm gonna go ahead and say no, because I mean, just to play, every snap, for 17 games. I mean, that's asking a lot these days. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I think they're going to miss some time here and there with some injuries.
All right, I'm going to say yes, man, because last season Chris Olave played 16 games and he only missed the last game because of blood clots in his lung. And Jordan Tyson, now look, I was not watching every Arizona State game, but his injuries weren't like draft, right? Like where he was going undrafted and stuff. So I think Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson, with their I think they can stay on the field, and I think they will stay on the field for at least 15 of them things, at least. Now, do you think? Now, Dad, I have a question for you. So, right, we know most of the quarterbacks in the NFC South. Who do you think will be the starter in Atlanta? You think it's going to be Tua, or you think it's going to be Michael Penix?
Tua.
All right.
Definitely.
So, out of Tua Tagovailoa with the Atlanta Falcons, Bryce Young with the Carolina Panthers, and Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, do you think Tyler Shough is already the best quarterback in the NFC South?
I think he can be. I mean, I don't think nobody would probably rank him number one right now. They probably have to see another year from. But me, what we know about him. I mean, I'm gonna say yes.
All right. I'm going to say no, not because I think Tyler Shough won't be the best quarterback, but I think right now Baker is just the most proven guy. And Baker, because like a lot of people forgot, he almost won MVP. Like he was on the MVP trajectory last season. So I think, if I had to rank these four, I think Baker would be number one. I do think Tyler Shough would be number two. I don't know. I think Tua would probably be number three for me, and Bryce Young would be number four. Now that might be a hot take to some people. Bryce Young's just too inconsistent for me, man. I'm sorry, he's just too inconsistent for me. But yeah, now let's dive into some. As the Saints just got a double dose of NFL trade rumors, let's talk about these trade rumors. So the trade rumors, right? Kayvon Thibodeau is the third edge in New York and could be dealt for the right price. Now the latest buzz, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, he's set to play on his fifth-year option at $14.751 million. Now a source said Thibodeau has impressed the new staff this offseason, and the Saints were interested in the draft, but pivoted to Tyree Wilson. Jordan Raanan, who is a Giants reporter, said this: "You can never have enough pass rushers, is something you've consistently heard from Coach John Harbaugh and the Giants this offseason." Now, Fowler, who's an NFL insider, had a trade idea. Saints receive edge Kayvon Thibodeau. Giants receive a 2027 third. Now, Dad, if you were Mickey Loomis and you had a chance to do that, would you do it?
No, I'll probably keep my third round pick. I think we're fine with the edge rushers we have in house. I mean, we just, like you said, we just got the guy from Las Vegas, so I think we're good on there.
Yeah, I would respectfully decline it. Kayvon Thibodeau has been a first-round pick and has not lived up to that height. And giving away a day two pick to bank, you see that's why Tyree Wilson is a smarter trade, because you're only giving up a fifth. But with Kayvon Thibodeau, you're giving up a day two pick, which could be even better than Kayvon Thibodeau. So I'm just saying, I think the Saints, would not. And the Saints didn't want to do it in the draft. The Giants wanted a second-round pick. Saints said nope. All right, so now Jeremy Fowler said this about Kayvon Thibodeau and the Saints: "The Giants would likely need a quality day two pick to part with Thibodeau, especially with Arvell Reese starting his career at inside linebacker. But New Orleans has inquired about Thibodeau and still has a need at edge rusher after failing to reach a deal with Cameron Jordan thus far. In 2027, the Saints have a third-rounder and two fourth-rounders with which to maneuver." Now, the verdict, ESPN said New Orleans offer gets the job done, but, we'll see how that goes. Jordan Raanan on Kayvon Thibodeau trade, he said Harbaugh is not interested in a rebuild. He wants to compete for a playoff spot this season. So given that the Giants were originally looking for better than a third-round pick for Thibodeau, they passed on a third-round pick next year. The Giants could always reconsider their stance on Thibodeau at the trade deadline, depending on the state of the team. But if he has a strong season, they could franchise tag and trade him next year. Now, we also got some NFL news last week. Josh Jacobs has been arrested and booked into jail on 5 charges. And ESPN said Packers running back Josh Jacobs has been released from jail Wednesday after his arrest on several domestic violence charges. No charges have been filed at this time, but the Brown County, Wisconsin District Attorney's Office said the investigation remains open and ongoing. Now, if we look at the Packers running back depth chart, running back 1 is Josh Jacobs, running back 2, Chris Brooks, running back 3, Marshawn Lloyd, running back 4, Pierre Strong Jr., running back 5, Damian Martinez, and running back 6, Jaden Nixon. So the Packers could use another running back in the mix. Kendre Miller might be on the trade block. Let's talk about this trade candidate, Kendre Miller. He has played in 21 out of 51 possible games in the NFL. Kendre Miller has been impressive when he's on the field, but he's injury prone. The Saints have a crowded running back room. As if we look at the Saints running back depth chart, running back 1 is Travis Etienne, running back 2, Alvin Kamara, running back 3, Devin Neal, running back 4, Kendre Miller, running back 5, Audric Estime, running back 6, Ty Chandler, running back 7, CJ Donaldson. And his stats by year. 2023, he played in 8 games where he got 41 carries, 156 yards, and a touchdown. 2024 played in 6 games where he got 39 carries, 148 yards, and a touchdown. And then 2025 played in 7 games where he got 47 carries, 193 yards, and a touchdown. So, Dad, would you trade or keep Kendre Miller?
If you could, you trade him. But, I mean, you just gave the number. What he's playing 6, 7 games a year.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna give you anything for him. Nobody.
Yeah. I would definitely trade him and get something for him, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But that's what I would do if I was going. Now, Derek Carr, right, former Saints quarterback. He was on a podcast with his fellow Raider and Max Crosby. And Derek Carr reveals his biggest Saints regret. Dad, have you heard about this? Do you already know what I'm about to say?
No.
Derek Carr's biggest Saints regret was that he was not involved in the community early on his career with the Saints. Now, what do you have to say to that?
Well, sorry that he didn't get involved in the community. But I mean, it's not written in this contract that you have to get involved in the community. So I mean, I'm sure he was here just trying to play ball. But yeah, as a good Christian man, like he likes to portray himself, he should have gotten involved in the community. I'm sure he could have if he wanted to. Especially when he was injured, he had a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah. Why do you think he never connected with New Orleans?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's a New Orleans kind of guy, and he wasn't really here long enough to ingratiate himself to New Orleans. So I think a combination of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right. Yep. Just wanted to bring that up. So, now, when we talk about the Saints Mount Rushmore, do you think Cam Jordan would be on the Saints Mount Rushmore?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes, because the man has the most sacks in Saints history. So, I just can't find 4 guys that are ahead of Cam. I got Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and I think maybe Colson, and then I think Cam joins them 3. That's me personally. Now, who do you think will be the Saints' surprise OTA superstars? We have this every year where somebody does crazy in the OTAs, and then they do nothing in the regular season. So, who do you think is going to be that person this year?
You talking about a rookie or a guy that's been here for a while?
It could be anybody.
Could be anybody. I'm gonna say Noah Fant. I think given a fresh start. I know he's probably chomping at the bit to get out there and show his new city, his new team, what he's got, and how we didn't make a mistake by going out and getting him. So I'm gonna go with Mr. Noah Fant.
I'm going to go with Xavier Harris. I think he's going to be tearing it up in OTAs. And then people's going to be like, watch out! Watch out! So, yeah. Now, all right. Now, you know what we're about to do? We're about to do some predicting. You might be like, what's there to predict? Well, you're about to find out. So, I'm about to pull up the full roster and stuff. And we're going to predict who we think is going to make the 53-man roster. Now, this is obviously before preseason, but to be fair, who gives a crap? All right, so let's look at the roster. All right, now let me find this. All right, now let's see depth chart. That's what I want. Depth chart. Or I guess I'm not getting it. All right. Now that so the Saints got 3 quarterbacks on their team right now: Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, and Zach Wilson. Who do you think makes the team?
I'm gonna go with. I don't think 3 quarterbacks are gonna make the team. So I'm gonna go with keeping Shough and Rattler.
All right, so let me put this down. All right, so you're keeping Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler. All right. Okay. Now, if we look at the running backs, so you got Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara, Ty Chandler, Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, Audric Estimate, CJ Donaldson. Who do you think makes the roster out of those 7?
I think Etienne.
Okay.
Kamara,
Okay.
Devin Neal, and I think Estimate beats out Kendre Miller. So you're talking about trading Kendre Miller? I think no, he's going to be a free agent. Somebody can go ahead and sign him because I think Estimate beats him out for the 4th running back position, and we don't need a 5.
All right, yeah. So, quarterback, I had Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, and Zach Wilson all making the team. And then at running backs, I had Travis Etienne Jr., Alvin Kamara, Devin Neal, and Kendre Miller. So I had 4 running backs. You had 4 very different. Well, no. So the only guy. So I had Kendre making it over Estimate. But all right. So now, if we look at the wide receivers, all right. So you had the Saints cutting Zach Wilson at quarterback so far, and you had them cutting Ty Chandler, Kendre Miller, and CJ Donaldson. So, yep. All right, now let me pull up the wide receivers. All right, so wide receivers. You got Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, Devon Vele, Jalen Polk, Bryce Lance, Barian Brown, Bub Means, Mason Tipton. Okay, so those are the guys that you have on the receiving room right now. Who do you think out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8? Out of those 8, who do you think makes the team?
I think we're going to keep 6 wide receivers. So I'm going to go Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, Devon Vele, Bryce Lance. I'm going to go Barian Brown. Then I'm going to go one more. I'm going to say Mason Tipton makes the team. So I think that means we're going to cut Bub Means. and the rest of the room getting cut. But that's going to be a tough out. I think Mason Tipton edges out Bub Means for that last sixth receiver spot.
All right. So you think the Saints keep Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, Devon Vele, Bryce Lance, Barry Brown, and Mason Tipton. All right. So that means you have them cutting Jalen Polk and Bub Means. All right. I have the Saints in the wide receiver department. I got them keeping Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, Devon Vele, Jalen Polk, Bryce Lance, Bub Means, and Barry and Brown. I think that's 7 actually. I think the only guy that doesn't make the team from the receiving room is Mason Tipton. I think he's like a practice squad guy this year. All right, and the reason I have Barry and Brown making it over Tipton is because, like Barry Brown, right? He's 5'11", 177 pounds, 22 years old, from LSU. That's where he went to college. 2025, had 53 receptions, 532 yards, and 1 touchdown. I think he makes the team over Mason Tipton. Now, if we look at the tight ends. All right. The Saints currently have 4 tight ends, as they got Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, and Maliki Matavo. I think that's what they got. Who do you think of that room? Who do you think makes the team?
I think because, Kellen Moore likes to run a lot of 2, a lot of 3 tight end formations. I'm gonna say I'm going to keep all of them. I'm gonna keep 4 tight ends on this roster.
All right. So, Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, and Maliki Matavo. All right, I, in the tight end room, also have the Saints keeping everybody. I think we keep Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, and Maliki Matavo. And here's why, man, because you got multiple tight end sets now. And so I would expect to see a lot of different alignments on the offense, and it should be exciting. Now let's talk about the offensive line. Okay, so the offensive tackles. You got let's start with the left. Let's just do the offensive tackles. Kelvin Banks Jr., Barry Wesley, Asim Richards as your left tackles. Felice Fuaga, Xavier Truss, Alan Haran, and Alex Wolslager as your right tackle. Who do you think makes the team from that?
Oh, definitely Kelvin Banks at the left tackle and Felice Fuaga at the right tackle. And behind them, I'm going to go with Barry Wesley to make the team. And I'm going to go with Xavier Truss to make the team.
All right. Xavier Truss. All right. I have the Saints keeping Kelvin Banks, Felice Fuaga, Asim Richards, and that's it for the offensive tackle. I think Asim Richards stays on the team. So I think the Saints end up cutting Barry Wesley, Xavier Truss, Alan Haran, and Alex Wolslager. And you have the Saints keeping Kelvin Banks, Felice Fuaga, Barry Wesley, and Xavier Truss. You have them cutting Asim Richards, Alan Haran, and Alex Wolslager. All right, now the offensive guards. You got currently on the team David Edwards, Cesar Ruiz, Dylan Reduns, Jeremiah Wright, Easton Kitty, William Sherman, and Nick Saldivari. Who do you think makes the team out of that?
Of the guards, it's definitely David Edwards, Cesar Ruiz. They're both going to make the team. And then, say behind them is going to be Jeremiah Wright. I'm leaving out another guard because I think Simpkins is going to be our backup center, and he can play guard as well. So I'm gonna just go with Jeremiah Wright as the backup guard for now.
Right. No pun intended. Jeremiah Wright. Yeah, I think with the offensive guards, I think the Saints keep. David Edwards, Cesar Ruiz, Dylan Reduns, Jeremiah Wright, and like you said, Torrey C. Simpkins can play guard or center. So yeah, the guys I think that the Saints cut from the offensive guard department is Easton Kitty, Nick Saldivari, and Will Sherman. Now the center position, the Saints got Eric McCoy and Torrey C. Simpkins third. I guess like I said, he can play either or. So who would you have? Well, I mean, there's really only one guy to put here, right? That's Eric McCoy. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep both those guys, Eric McCoy and Simpkins third. Like I said, Simpkins, they give you flexibility with your depth as far as he can play guard and center.
Right. Yeah, hold on. All right. Now, at the defensive side of the ball. All right, so let's see. All right, so with the edge rushers, the Saints have, let's see. So in the edge department, you got Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Tyree Wilson, Anthony Jennings, Fadil Diggs, and I think that might be it. So who do you think makes the team in the edge rusher department? Oh, and also Michael Helbin. All right, now who do you think the Saints keep at edge?
You're not considering the Vernon Brogdon and Tyree Wilson edge players?
Tyree Wilson is an edge. Vernon Brogdon's more of a D tackle.
Yeah, I mean, the way they have these rosters lately, I mean, it's almost like basketball, where it's like positionless basketball. You just throw them out there.
Yeah.
So, definitely Carl Granderson. I'm just thinking about some edge players. Carl Granderson and Chase Young, but they got Chase Young listed as a linebacker. But I consider him an edge.
He is an edge.
Yeah. So Carl Granderson, Anthony Jennings, Chase Young, Diggs. What's his first name? Fadil Diggs.
Fadil Diggs.
And of course Tyree Wilson and Nathan Shepard.
All right. So. Okay. At the edge rusher department, I have the Saints keeping Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Tyree Wilson, Anthony Jennings. I have them keeping 4, which means we cut Fadil Diggs, and yeah. Now, a defensive tackle, right? The Saints got Brian Brzee, Christian Miller, John Ridgway III, Vernon Brofton, Xavier Harris, and whoever the heck is on this defensive tackle line. So who do you think the Saints keep at D tackle?
D tackle. Oh, you consider a nose tackle D tackle?
Yeah. They're kind of grouped together.
Well, they got Devon Godchow. Is that how you say it? Godchow?
Yeah, Godchow.
I think they'll keep him. I think Brian Brzee. Of course, Christian Miller. John Ridgway III. And Christian Boyd.
All right. Christian Miller. And you said Christian Boyd, right?
And Christian Boyd.
All right.
Yeah.
Christian Boyd. I think at the D tackle position, I think the Saints are going to go ahead and keep the Buddy Boys. Brian Brzee, Christian Miller, John Ridgway III, Brendan Brofton, and Xavier Harris. And also, I think the Saints bring back Cam Jordan. Yep, I'm adding him back to the roster. All right, now let's talk about linebackers. All right, let's see who's on the Saints as a linebacker. So you got Caden Ellis, Isaiah Stallbird, Jackson Sermon, Pete Werner, Danny Stutzman, and Jalen Ford. Those are 6 linebackers. Who do you think makes the team out of those 6?
Give me Caden Ellis, Pete Warner, Stallbird, Stutzman, and that's it.
All right. Stallbird and Danny Stutzman. All right. So at linebacker, I think the Saints go ahead and keep Caden Ellis, Pete Werner, Danny Stutzman, Isaiah Stallbird, and Jalen Ford. I think they're keeping 5. And now watch out for Stutzman versus Warner. Now, cornerbacks. The Saints currently at corner have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quincy Riley, TJ Hall, Martin Emerson Jr., Dales Beanham, Isaac Adam, Deshaun Jones, and Rajon Wright. Who do you think that's, 2, 4, 6, I think that's 8 corners I just named. Who do you think makes the team in the cornerback room?
I think the Saints are going to make a move. Like when cut down days come, I think they're going to be looking to get better at cornerback. So what as it stands right now, here's who I think. Kool-Aid, Quincy Riley, TJ Hall, I think Rajon Wright, and Isaac Adams. So I think they're cutting Martin Emerson.
All right. All right. I think in the cornerback room, I think the Saints are keeping. Let me see. All right, I think the Saints keep Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quincy Riley, Martin Emerson Jr., and TJ Hall. And I think they'll end up trading Isaac Adam. I think they'll get a draft pick out of Isaac Adam. He's 6'1", 188, 30 years old. His college was Boston College. Last season he had 16 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. I think they end up trading Isaac Adam, and I think they end up cutting the rest of the guys. I think they cut Dales Beanham, Deshaun Jones, and Rajon Wright. And Beanie Bishop, depending on if you count him as a corner or not. All right, now if you look at the safeties, all right, the Saints at safety currently have Justin Reed, Julian Blackman, Jonas Anchor, Terrell Burgess, and Elliot Davison, and Jordan Howden and Lorenzo Styles Jr. Who do you think the Saints keep in the safety room?
All right, I think we're keeping Justin Reed. We're keeping Julian Blackman. We're keeping Jonas Sanker. And that's it.
All right, so 3 safeties.
3 safeties.
All right. Now, in the safety room, I think the Saints keep Justin Reed, Jonas Anchor, Julian Blackman, Jordan Howden, and Lorenzo Styles Jr. I think the Saints, so that means I think we cut Elliot Davison, and I think he's the only safety we cut. So, yep, sorry, Elliot. Yeah. Now, the projecting starting DBs at cornerback, the 2 starting corners on the outside is projected to be Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley. The star is supposed to be Jonas Anchor. Then at free safety, Justin Reed. Strong safety, Julian Blackman. Now, hold on. Let me see something real quick. All right. Now, For the special teams unit, currently the Saints have 2 kickers. Charlie Smith, apparently I looked it up, it is Smith, so Charlie Smith and Mason Shipley. Who do you think makes the team at kicker?
I think Charlie Smith makes the team. I think Mason Shipley could be a practice squad guy if nobody picks him up. Because you never know when a kicker is gonna lose his mind and miss all his field goals. So it's always good to have, a guy ready to come in. So yeah, Charlie Smith.
All right. Now at punter, the Saints' only punter is Ryan Wright. So by default, I got to give you Ryan Wright. By the way, fun fact: today is Ryan Wright's birthday, so shout out to him.
Happy birthday.
Yep. And then long snapper, we only got Zach Wood. So by default, I got to give you him. Now, Dad, that leaves you with 49 people. So you got to find a way to bring 4 more back to the team.
All right, I'm going to bring Jordan Howden back.
All right.
Lorenzo Styles Jr. So that's 51, right?
Yep.
So now I'm going to go back to the offensive line and bring a couple of these guys back that I pretty much trimmed it. So I'm going to go with, let's see, Easton Kitty, just because I like that name. Easton Kitty.
Okay.
Back.
And last guy.
Nick Saldivari.
All right, Nick Saldivari is brought back. What up, the Jungle Podcast? What up? How you doing, my brother?
What's up, Jungle?
All right. So, I think that's a good spot to wrap up today. Dad, do you have anything else? I'm sorry, Jungle Podcast that you're getting as soon as we're ending. But Dad, do you have anything else to share?
No, sir. I'm good. Great show as always.
All right, I will say this. Keep on the lookout on Dad's platform, as we might be doing something for the NBA Finals, potentially, All right. So, Dad, speaking of that, where can they find you?
Find me at Mike Up YouTube channel and on the Hurricane Mike Show every week.
Yep. Shout out to Jerry and the Jungle Podcast for popping into the show. You can also find me at Hurricane Mike, Kyle Phelps, who we will be going live later, and Come On In Sports Network. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on so you don't miss another upload. And Dad, we're going to leave them as always with a who dat. And don't be a what?
Don't be a Falcon fan. They just suck. That's all you have to know about them. They suck.
Yep.